Mike, I say this a lot. There's nobody I'd rather talk to today than you. But I mean it more so today than most days because who better to talk to about David Ortiz than the guy who literally wrote the book on him? So when you hear David Ortiz, first ballot baseball Hall of Famer, you think what?
I think I'm really happy for him. I was so proud of him. I knew it was inevitable. I didn't know it was going to happen on the first ballot. I thought it would be close because the MLB writers have had a hard time recently, like in the last 50 years, of putting a designated hitter in the Hall of Fame first, not to mention the PED story that came out in 2009 based on the 2003 test that was not official. But there are just two designated hitters in the Hall of Fame. Ortiz becomes the second after Edgar Martinez in 2019. But just thinking about the guy and his journey, and it really couldn't go to a better guy. I'm just really excited for him, knowing where he came from in the Dominican Republic, knowing the twists and turns on his way to the Hall of Fame. It's pretty incredible when you think about some of the others who are there, some who should be there, and I know we'll talk about that later. Some of these guys we're talking about were, top 5, top 10 picks, sons of major league players, or been identified at a long time at a young age. Hey, this guy's going to get there.
Born and bred to do it.
Yeah. But that really wasn't his story. Mike, a lot of people don't know David Ortiz, when he was 14, 15, 16, he thought he was going to play in the NBA. He loved the NBA. He watched the NBA in the Dominican Republic, loved Charles Barkley, loved Karl Malone. He was a big kid, 6'3", 6'4", not as hefty as he was when he played, but he could ball. A left-handed baller. And he thought, hey, I'm going to play in the NBA. He was on a traveling team in the Dominican Republic. They used to go all over the island, and he was a pretty good player. And when he thought he was going to get a major league invite when he was 16 and a half, 17, he thought he was going to be signed by a major league team. They looked at him. He had a bad week or bad couple weeks of practice, and he didn't get the invite that he thought he was going to get. And that team cut him. It was Florida. Yeah. Florida cut him. And he went to talk to his dad. His dad said he was down, really depressed. David was. Dad said, "Okay, son, what happened? Did you break a leg? Did you break your arm? Is something physically wrong with you, son?" David said, "No." Then his father started laughing. He said, "Dad, why are you laughing? I told you I got cut." He said, "Team just made the biggest mistake of their lives. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. It's just not there. The opportunity is coming somewhere else." So I'll tell you one more story that just makes me laugh and tells you about Ortiz, the personality. I mean, the talent is obvious, the power, the ability to be nerveless in the clutch. But he was always a leader among his teammates, whether his teammates were U.S. citizens or teammates from the Dominican Republic. So when first time he left the Dominican, first time he was ever on a plane, he was 17, and he went to Arizona, played the rookie league, noon temperatures like around 100-something degrees. They're playing games in like 103, 104 degrees. He was like, it's hot. I took a little bit of English lessons because my father told me, you're going to need this one day. You're going to be a major league player. Really study your English. So he was one of the few players who could speak English among the Dominicans on the team. So they're in Arizona. They don't know what's going on. And he was able to lead them. He'd say, all right, this is what you need to do. Whether it was, going to the ballpark or understanding the American culture or joking around, because the man loves to joke around. So one of the things, I love this story, told me like one of his teammates went to a soda machine, like a vending machine, wanted a soda. So the word in Spanish, the word dime, D-May is slang for say it. So his teammate is putting some coins into this machine.
Okay.
And Ortiz, and he didn't put in enough.
Okay.
So the thing said, D-May, dime. You need another dime.
Yeah.
So Ortiz is saying, hey, man, you got to scream at it for it to come out. So the guy was saying, soda, Coca-Cola. He just kept screaming. And Ortiz is telling him, say it louder. It still says teammate, say it louder. So the guy's standing there.
That's cool.
And they're all rolling as the guy is screaming. He's like, no, I'm just playing with you, man. Put a dime in and it'll come out. Yeah. So, I mean, he's always been that guy. People have always followed him all the way to the very end of his career. In 2013, last thing I'll say, 2013, they're going to the World Series. They're down to the St. Louis Cardinals. They're trailing 2-1 in that series. Ortiz is hitting out of his mind, but everybody else around him, you know, he thought that they lacked confidence, and it's a famous picture. He called his teammates together in the dugout, and he said, look, are you guys scared? Are you scared? Are you scared of this guy? Are you scared of this team? No, we're not scared. You're playing like you're scared. Come on now. It's a World Series. This is the moment. This is what we've been talking about. Let's go. They come back, they win that game. They don't lose another game in the series. So he was a clutch player. He was a leader. He was a prankster. He would make everybody, he'd make so-called little people, he would make them feel important as soon as he walked into the room. He still does that. He was great. The Red Sox have an association with the Jimmy Fund, which is known for cancer research, especially with kids. Ted Williams started it. David Ortiz, any kind of patient, he'd walk into the room, walk into a hospital. They all feel like they're important. So congratulations to David Ortiz for making it to the Hall of Fame.
Hey, I'm going to ask you that good old Boston Sports Talk Radio question. First time caller, long time listener, you know, so you mentioned Ted Williams. Man's got a tunnel named after him in Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time you had this conversation. Ortiz, Mount Rushmore, Boston Sports. Ortiz is definitely on it, right? Okay, all right.
He's got to be on it.
I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Enjoy the show. And you know, y'all need to know, family, y'all out there, you need to know Michael Smith, shame on him. I think the statute of limitations is up on this, so this story can be told. Michael Smith one time called sports radio with his Boston accent and pretended to be like
Boston
Tony. No, it worked. It was like Tony from Framingham. He was living out in Framingham, Massachusetts at the time, suburb of Boston. Hey guys, you know, love what you're doing. Love what you're doing out there. Hey, let me just throw
First time, long time.
And this went on for like 12 minutes. I should have hung up on him, but I just let him go. I was like, how long is he gonna keep this going? But he just kept going. Anyway, I say Ortiz makes it because, you know, 2004, 2007, 2013, those three championships, including the big one that broke a drought. And Ted Williams, the numbers, like nobody's got numbers like Ted Williams. It's silly stuff. You look at his on-base percentage, his slugging percentage, like all this stuff. And he missed time he went to war and then came back from war. He was flying planes and then coming back and, you know, hitting home runs. It's an incredible story. His story is great, but still championships. So I give it to Ortiz.
Did more for the team. Yeah, I mean, listen.
Ortiz in championships, Ortiz in the postseason.
That's three. I mean, if you want to put Williams and Ortiz, you want to give two Red Sox. I mean, it's like, okay, Brady, Belichick, Bobby Orr, Bill Russell. I mean, Mount Rushmore in Boston doesn't work. What if I can get personal? Well, more personal. What is your relationship with him now? How long ago did you write that book again? How long did you write the book with him?
2000. Came out in 2017, May of 2017.
Y'all still keep in regular touch? I didn't know if you had a chance. I'm sure his phone is blowing up since yesterday. I didn't know if you had a chance to text him or be in contact with him since last night.
Send a text, reach out to him, and vintage David Ortiz. So I sent a text yesterday. He'll get back to me in about a week and a half. So I thought.
Listen,
Mike, you thought
I was bad
with me? No, me with punctuality. Yeah, I told you before. David Ortiz is next level. But I will give him this, and I enjoyed this so much. And this is such a brother from another story. We can all relate to this. The end of it is a brother from another story. We got into a routine. He would say, "Come to my house, and let's just talk. Let's just talk for as long as you need." He's like, "How long do you think we should talk?" I said, "Well, David, you played 20 years, so I'd say at least 20 hours, like an hour for each season of your career." And it was much more than that. But I wanted to set the tone there. I wanted to set a foundation just to get more time. I don't want it to be less. And so we would go, I'd go out to his house, and eventually, after he'd go through his own thing, got to be clean and all that stuff, we'd sit down and we would talk. But I could see him in his house, in his element, and how it worked. And it was great. Like, we'd go down to his basement, and he'd have all this memorabilia. We're sitting there talking, and I remember one day we're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, boom! I heard this noise outside. Then I heard his wife, Tiffany, say, "David, come here." Like, hold on, man. Go up. "Hey, the umbrella flew from the outdoor table. The umbrella flew off. I need you to go out and pick it up." And so it's like, all right. It was just like these everyday, these mundane tasks that we do all the time.
Still
so
had to do
the great David Ortiz
won the balls in his
at the
own
crib.
house. Yeah.
At the crib, so what? So what? Hey, you know, there's some boxes that came. I need you to take those boxes upstairs or downstairs. It was just the ordinariness of Ortiz, who was seen outside of his house as this extraordinary figure, but his kids would do the same thing. Hey, like, his kids would come by, friend from school. "Oh, hey, Dad," and then just keep pushing. You know, and his kids went to public schools. That was intentional. They really, you know, Tiffany and David, I know they're in the process of separating now, but they were really passionate about making sure that their kids were a part of whatever community that they lived in. And so that was the other part of Ortiz's story, that there's these contrasts of big moment, larger than life, but when he was at home, he really was at home. Didn't have somebody, there was no butler who'd come to the door, "Hello, sir, I'll see you." And no, it was just like, "Hey, what's up, man? Let's go. You ready to talk? Let's talk."
He got to the Sox in 03? 02, 03? What year did he get to the Sox? 03, yeah. The reason I say that is I wish I had the pleasure of covering him. I wish I had the pleasure of being in the clubhouse around him. By that time, I had drifted away from the Red Sox. My exposure to the Red Sox was you know, Pedro at his peak, when him pitching at Fenway was literally an event, you know, on Yawkey Way and in Boston. By the time I got to, you know, 02, 03, around the Red Sox every now and then, so I may have bumped into him, and I'm sure he was friendly, if I recall correctly. I'm sure he was. But by that time, I was more focusing on the NFL, so I wish I'd had the pleasure. One of 4 players with 500 home runs and 3 World Series titles: Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson, David Ortiz. This is the only time, the first, last, and only time that I am going to agree with Curt Schilling, speaking of the Red Sox and the curse, who tweeted yesterday that every time the Hall of Fame induction comes around, we make it more about who didn't get in versus who did. So congratulations, David Ortiz. Your co-author just told some amazing stories. Your numbers, your accomplishments speak for themselves. But like everybody, his legacy is more complicated than just his accomplishments. So with that said, that segment was devoted to David Ortiz. We're going to take a break. We are not going to muddy the waters on a David Ortiz conversation with a conversation about those who were once again excluded. I just wanted to hear you. I wanted to hear you drop some knowledge on Ortiz, since you know him as well as anybody possibly could and didn't play with him.
Yeah, and you know why they call him Papi, right? You know the Papi story.
What's the story?
He doesn't.
He like Biggie Smalls?
Names. No, he doesn't remember people's
so he just
names.
called everybody Papi. So he called everybody Papi.
Papi.
Yeah.
Instead of like calling somebody, my man, buddy, like Papi. Hey, what's up, Papi? What's up, Papi? So people started calling him Big Papi. And the worst part of it, he is bad with names. The worst part of it is the guy who hit in front of him was called Petey. David Pedroia, Dustin Pedroia.
Dustin Pedroia,
nicknamed Petey.
Yeah.
So he never knew Dustin Pedroia's first name was Dustin. So Pedroia gave him a hard time. He said, look, man, I'm introduced before you. Like they say, Dustin Pedroia. What did you think my name was?
Papi was too busy being fly.
Dustin?
Hey, it was hard work making it look that easy and that good. Papi was too busy being fly. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
That's what it comes down to.
A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun, man. Like one of the most fun projects I've ever done. Thankfully.
That's awesome.
It was a blessing to do it. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.